working.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to wait some minutes for your classmates and see how soon they connect.
Okay.
Okay, so how are you, Rick?
Fine, and you?
I'm really good. Um, eh, it's Wednesday, so normally it is Wednesday is usually a busy day, so a bit
Okay.
a bit tired. What about you? What do you do for work?
Okay. Today was a very boring day.
Really?
Yes, because the sales are slow. The sale was slow.
The sales.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Oh, sorry. Ah, okay. So yeah, and but I suppose you have some days that are really busy, right?
Yes. The weekends are very busy.
Really? Oh, okay. Usually people on the Wednesday they go to do everything, right? Like, and if it is that you sell something, usually people is on the on the weekend is trying to buy things and all that, right?
Yes. The weekends.
But I guess that's good, no? Because
Yeah.
if you don't sell, then that's a problem.
Yes. I work in a place that sells mugs and the chairs and everything about heat transfer.
About what?
The heat transfer. Do
Hit
you know? Do
hit.
you know the meaning about subliminación?
Oh, the like the for the t-shirts.
Yes.
Oh, I see, I see. Um, but you sell the materials.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
We
It's not.
are provide.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. It's not that you sell the t-shirts, you provide all the material that they need.
Yes, all the materials, inks, paper.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's true. That's a really good business now, right? Because people is doing more uh doing that type of like t-shirts and work, right? Is that also for cups, like for coffee cups? Is that the same thing?
Yes, it's the same thing
Oh,
because
that's
we sell um, cups, the shirts, and blanks in general.
okay. Really good. Good evening, Samara. How are you? How was your day?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
That's good. Did you have a busy day at work?
No, I had to my university.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, but
are you like in midterms, in exams, or something like that?
yes, evaluation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really common around these days. More
yes,
mostly that we are almost finishing the year, right?
mm,
Thi-
yeah,
Things get harder.
yes. It's hard, but um, I try to do all.
Yeah, that's good. And what do you study?
Um, I study I'm a
Oh, you
biologist
said
and
biology. Yeah,
uh,
that's
yeah.
true. That's true. You mentioned it last time. That's good. That's good. Lisandro, good evening. How are you?
Hi, coach. I'm doing great.
How was your day, Lisandro? Did you have a busy day?
Mhm. No, I have been in my house.
Ah, okay. That's really nice. That's really
Mhm.
nice. And Fatima, good evening. Oh, well, I still see you're connecting with the audio. Okay, well, I hope that the rest of your classmates connect eventually. I didn't know. I think I need to verify some attendance. I think they sent me a list, and also I wanted to ask you because I think it was you, right, Eric, the one that sent me the message with the grade from the platform. Is that correct?
Yes,
Oh.
I send you.
Okay, yes. I wanted to ask you about that. Do you have to send me that, or how did you do it with the other teacher? Did did you send it to the teacher, or because I know that I have to make um like an exam, but that's at the end, I think. At the end, that I have to make an exam about the topics that we are going to study. But I was not sure about the grades that you have in the platform. I think that somebody sent me a list with some grades that you have so far. But anyways, I will ask later because I just received Eric, so I don't know if the rest also have to send it. If you need to send it because I was given a list to report your grades, so I want to check that probably tomorrow with the person that is coordinating the course. Okay, Fatima, can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Hello, hello, Fatima. Good evening. Okay, well, oh, okay, good, Fatima. Excellent. That's okay. Thank you for responding. Let me share my screen. And today we have to, we are going to continue learning and practicing about countable and uncountable nouns. Although the practice is not specifically about countable and uncountable nouns, we need to know them, and you will see why. But let me share the presentation. I have a couple of pictures to show you first. Let me just share the screen. Let's see, share screen, desktop, I think, and then I have to click share. Let me know, can you see the screen now? You see it? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna talk about this topic, but as I said, before that, I wanna show you these pictures. And I wanna ask you, what do you see in the picture?
There are books.
There are books. Is that something that we can count or not?
Yes. Countable.
Okay, they are countable. Now, suppose that I ask you the question, for example, Lisandro, if I ask you, do you have any books?
Yes, I have many books.
You have many books. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. What about this picture? What do you see in the picture?
There are a lot of people.
There are
A lot of people.
a lot of people. Excellent. Let's go ahead and continue with the next picture. What about this one? What do you see?
There is a sand clock.
That's a sand clock. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. And what does it measure? What does this sand clock measure? Do you know what it measure means? What does it measure? What does it tell you? What information does the sand clock give you? What information can you get from the sun clock?
About time.
About time. Excellent. How would you describe how much time do you have left? How would you describe the amount of time that you have left? If you look at this sun clock,
I think the time is finished, so it's a little time
it's
to
almost.
complete some
Mhm, mhm.
things.
Okay, good. So the time is, we're running out of time, right? Okay, thank you, Xiomara. Now, what about this one? What do you see?
Cookies.
Cookies, countable or uncountable?
Countable.
Can you count all
Well,
the cookies? Okay, countable. Can you count all the cookies?
I look 10, I guess 10 cookies.
10. Eric, how many cookies can you count?
I can cook 10 cookies.
10. Does anybody else have a different number? Do you have any different number, or do we all agree that there are 10 cookies? I'm not
Or
really,
maybe 12.
or maybe 12,
Yes, maybe, but I'm not sure.
maybe 12, maybe 10. You're not sure. Good, excellent. That's okay. So we have a couple of cookies there. What about this one?
A
What do
lot
you
of money.
a lot of money, right? Who wouldn't want some money from there, right?
I
Like
want this money.
at least one pack, right? At least one. Okay. What about this one? Oh, I forgot to ask. I'm sorry. Can you count how much money there is?
No.
No, right? Yeah, that's that. I think it's impossible. Like for anybody to count that the money that is in the picture, right?
Yes.
What about this one? What about this one? What do you see there?
There are, oh, but there is empty glass, I guess,
Is it empty
or
or not? What do you think? Yes, Eric.
Yes, is empty.
It is empty. What about
Or,
what about this? What about,
oh,
I'm sorry, let me just go back. There we go. So what about what you have here, for example? What about this? What's that in there?
A little bit water.
Okay, thank you, Lisandro. So is it empty? No, right. Remember that empty?
no,
Remember that empty means
nothing.
nothing,
Nothing.
completely
Okay.
zero, right? Good, good. Now let's move on to the next one. No, not that one, the next one. What about this one? What do you see? What do you see there? What do you see in the sky? This is
There
the
are a lot of stars.
there are a lot of stars, right? You like watching at the stars? By the way, they say that there will be an eclipse, right? One of these days, I don't know when, but I heard they were saying that's an eclipse. I don't know if it's on the sun or the moon. Don't remember. Have you heard about that?
I guess is the sun
Is the
in
sun
Saturday. Saturday. On
Saturday?
Saturday. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Do you like watching those things? Is that something you enjoy?
Um, sometimes.
Sometimes.
I prefer the moon.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now, what about this one? That's something we hate to see, I think, but we live it every day. What do you see there?
Traffic.
Traffic. How would you describe the traffic? How would you describe the traffic in the picture?
Because there are a lot of cars and
Okay.
motorcycles.
We have a lot of cars. We have the street, right? Full of cars, full of motorcycles.
Yeah,
So
in talking about emotion, it will be a little bit stressful, maybe.
I don't think it's a little bit stressful. It's a lot of stress. I don't like traffic, so it stresses me. But yes, there's a lot of stress, so we can describe it as a stressful traffic. And all right, I think I have another one. What about this one? What about that one? What's there? What do you see there?
A cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Countable or not countable? Coffee.
Uncountable.
Uncountable. Uncountable. I forgot to ask you about the traffic. The same question. How much traffic is there? Is it countable or uncountable? What would you say about traffic? Is it countable or uncountable?
It is uncountable.
Uncountable, right? Okay. Yeah, traffic is uncountable. Now cars, they are countable, although I wouldn't be able to count them here. And yeah, that's the last one. Okay, well, the idea of this exercise of showing these pictures, one was to refresh a little bit about uncountable and countable nouns. But also the idea is to reflect on the fact that we need to count things, right? We need to count things. And I'm gonna go back to the example of the cookies. And we had a difference there. For example, Samara says there will be probably 12, that there will be probably 10. Now, what do we do in Spanish when we don't know the exact amount of the things that we are talking about? For example, imagine that I'm hungry and I go to your house and I ask you, do you have any cookies? And you know that there are cookies in the kitchen, but you don't know how many. What would you answer? What would you answer if I ask you, do you have any cookies? Do you think that you need to say the exact amount of cookies that you have in the kitchen? Do you think it's necessary to say that? The exact amount? Like if yes, there are 10 cookies in my kitchen. Or yes, I have 12 cookies in the plate. Do you think that's necessary, or do we use any other words? What do you think?
You can
Tell me, Rick. Go ahead.
you can use some.
Some. Okay. Now, who was Gandhi? Was that you talking?
Yes, as I can say it, we can say like we have some cookies, or in this moment I can say 10 of them, 10
Okay.
cookies, but I
Okay.
don't know.
Uh-huh. Yes, that's right. Sometimes we need to say, or we need to at least imagine that I'm talking about probably the food that I had for lunch. In what if I had rice for lunch? And I'm not going to tell you how many, right? Or how much exactly, like that, the count of rices that I had, right? I'm gonna tell you, like, first, I had some rice. What if I tell you I have a lot of cookies? Would that change if I say I have some cookies or I have a lot of cookies? Will that change what I want to say to you? What's the difference, Lisandro? What would be the difference between I have some cookies and I have a lot of cookies? For anybody else?
Cuando utilizamos el some es que no estamos seguros de la cantidad.
And what if I say a lot of cookies?
Muchas galletas.
That means that I don't know the amount, right? I don't know the exact amount. I
Yeah.
just say some and I have a lot. Well, that's what we are going to talk about today. We are going to learn about these words that we know as quantifiers. And before I show you that, let me just go back to this other slide. Okay, this one. Do you see the words that are there in bold? It says, you know what bold is? Bold are the words that are that we call in Spanish, we call them negritas, right? These are in bold, right? What do those words express? Read the sentences and think of this. What do they express? Much, 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 little, little. I read the sentences. I'm gonna give you like 1 or 2 minutes to read them. But what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to this, to those words. What do they express? Any idea? Anybody? What do they express?
Quantifier.
Quantifiers, okay? And when do we use quantifiers? What do we want to say with quantifiers? What do I express with those words? All of them, they are called quantifiers, definitely. But what do they express? That's the question. What do they express? They express quantity, right? That's why they are called quantifiers. They express the quantity of the noun that we are talking about. Right? So it is quantity. That's what it expresses. And now, if you can see, I'm saying quantity, but I'm not mentioning any numbers. I'm not saying, for example, in the first example that I have here, I can count apples, but I'm not saying I want 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples. I'm saying I want all the apples, right? And that is because when we speak in English, in Spanish, or every time that we want to talk about quantities, not necessarily we are going to talk about numbers, right? We don't necessarily need to talk about numbers or exact numbers. And that's why we have these words, right? Like all, every, most, many, some, a few, any, no. Now, if you see, we have a lot of words, right? That, and probably the difficult part is to know when to use each of them. And I want to show you a slide that has that information. Let me just put it here really quickly. No, that's not the one. Okay, so here, so quantifiers, it says there that they are words, right? They are words or phrases that they are used to specify or to talk about, as I said, we're talking about quantity, right? That's what we are saying. We're talking about quantity, right? That's what we want to say, quantity. Or we also want to provide information about the number of items, the amount, or the degree it says there. But we will talk about that in a moment. And we can use quantifiers with both uncountable and countables, okay? Now, let me just show you a list that I have. Just go back on this, there. So we can use quantifiers with countable and uncountable, right? And this is a very short list. I'm going to show you a list in a moment, but the one that you see here, for example, this is a short list of the different quantifiers that we can use. And there we have some examples, right? There we have some examples. As you can see, I have there, I have a few friends who work. Now, for example, that word a few, how many friends do I have? Can you tell me? How many friends do I have? Can anybody tell me how many friends I have? Guys, what do you think? How many friends
Lot.
do, huh?
A lot.
A lot? But I'm using a word that says a few, okay?
Few.
Have you heard the word a few? Have you heard
Yes,
that?
it's like little.
Yes, teacher.
Uh-huh. Now, and you mentioned something interesting, Eric. Yes, sometimes we use this one in a very similar way than this one, little, but they are different, right? If you can see few and a few, they are for countable quantifiers. And little and a little is for uncountable. Now, let me ask you the question. Can I count my friends? Can you count how many friends you have? Now, I'm not asking you if for real friends or no, but suppose that, can you count your friends? Can you count how many friends you have? Is it possible to count how many friends I have?
Yes, it's possible.
It is possible, right? As I say, I'm not talking about real friends or good friends or no, right? I'm just asking a general question. But yes, you can count how many friends you have. But imagine that I ask you right now, Eric, how many friends do you have? Are you going to take the time to start like Juan, Pedro? Is that what you're going to do when you're speaking with somebody? Or will you just say, I have a few friends?
Yes. I say yeah, I have a few friends.
That's how we use quantifiers. We don't say the number, but I give you an idea. And this is where the difference comes with, for example, let me erase this. For example, with, all right, so let's leave this clear. Countable quantifiers. So that means that I can use all of this with things that I can count. Okay. Let me give you an example. Dogs. Can I count dogs? Yes or no? Dogs, can I count them? 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs,
Yeah.
4 dogs, 5
Yes.
dogs. Yes. Okay, I can say I have a few dogs. I have a few dogs. Or I can say I have a lot of dogs. What is the difference? What's the difference in the sentence?
The one, the first example is l- it's like a focus.
Hmm?
View is focus, and the second example is about muchos.
Uh-huh. The idea here is that they don't tell you the exact number, but they express an idea of how many. So for example, a few, I could say, I have a few dogs. It could mean like probably between 5 and 10 or 3, 2. But when I say a lot, this can be, I mean, 25 dogs. If you have 25 dogs, that means you have a lot of dogs, right? That's more than usual. Probably you have 1, 2, 3 at home, dogs. But if you have 25 dogs, you can say I have a lot of. So we don't say the exact number, but we give an idea. A few, it means that's something that you can easily count. A lot, I can still count dogs, but it's not easy. Imagine that I have, for example, 100 dogs. It will not probably be easy to count them, but I can still count them, right? But the idea, if I tell, we were talking about we were, well, let me, do you have any questions so far about this, about countable quantifiers? Any question, Lisandro?
What is the difference when we use few and a few?
Well, you know what? I have a, let me see. I have an example of that. But see, a few, it's more like you give the idea of that you have, like the question that I asked. Let me erase this so that I can show you the example. I'm gonna write the example here because I don't remember where I have it, but I have it. I remember. So, for example, I can say I have a few friends, or I can say I have few friends. The idea here, or the difference, is on what they express. For example, I have a few friends. What did I say about the dogs? You remember, what did I say about I have a few dogs?
You have 5 or 10 dogs.
You could probably have like 5, 10 dogs. So if I say I have a few friends, it means that I have like, I don't know, I can count them with the fingers of my hands, right? But when I say I have few friends, that means that I have almost, oh, let me change the color because that's not readable. That means that I have almost 0 friends. It means that I probably only have 1 or 2 friends. Few expresses more like the idea that you, of something that you don't have. And a few is something that you have that you can count easily. So when you say few, I have few friends, that means that you just have probably 1 or 2, or right, probably just 1. Let me see, just there's some people waiting in the, yeah.
You can use few with a negative situation.
Normally, no, because you will, in that case, for negatives, you use any.
Yeah.
For negatives, you usually will use any. Like, I mean, like you would say, I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends. That's for negative. Few and a few, they are mostly for affirmative sentences. And the difference is that when you say a few, it's something that you can easily count. When you say few, you're talking about something that is close to 0. Like, I have few friends. I have, for example, if I tell you I have a few cookies, that means that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cookies. Or if I say I have few cookies, I probably just have 1. That's basically, that's the difference. One is expressing more like that is close to zero, and a few it's like something that I can count easily. Is that clear, Lisandro? Is that clear?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, good. Now let me move on to uncountable quantifiers. With uncountable quantifiers, if you see there are some that are they are like the same. Like for example, we have a lot of, but here we have a lot. Sometimes this and we have lots of. When you have exactly a lot of, this is only for countable. And sometimes, like I can say, I asked you about the traffic. Let me just, I asked you about the traffic and we were writing like, we can write, for example, there is a lot of traffic. That means that we can also use it for uncountable because we said that we cannot count traffic. There are some quantifiers that can be used with both countable and uncountable. I'm going to show you a list of the ones that mostly how they are used and mostly when you use them for countable and uncountables, right? And then we have, for example, much in when we talk about a big amount, when we talk about a big amount, we use, for example, if it is countable, we use many. I have many apples. I'm not saying how many, and that is not something that I can probably count easily. I'm just saying that I have a big amount of apples. But you can say also to express the same, something very similar, you can use much, but much is with countable. I don't know if you have if you have heard, like for example, that people sometimes say like not the A. Sometimes people say I love you much. That much in English and Spanish, we use it like the same word, right? Mucho, 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 mucha. But in English, we for the same idea, we have different expressions, many and much. Many is for countable, much is for uncountable, things that we cannot count. Like for example, love. Can we count love? Can we count it? Can you count love? No, right? Why? Because it's a feeling. We cannot count feelings, right? Okay. Any questions so far? Because I want to move on to some practice and I want to show you another slide. Let me just move on to the next one that I have here. There. And this is the one that I wanted to show you. So for example, here I explain how you use them. And I know that there are a lot of words, and if you can get a screenshot, or I'm gonna share it with you probably in the chat. But for example, you have a some. Indefinite means that I don't know the exact amount. I don't know how much or how many. All right? I don't know how much or how many. But I only use it for positives or affirmative sentences. Okay? I have some apples. I'm not telling you how the number. I'm just saying I have some apples. I don't know if it's a few, I don't know if it's a lot. I just have some apples, right? Any, and this is what you were asking, Eric. For example, with negatives and questions, we use any. And we use it when we don't know the exact amount. Now, also any, very similar to few, that is like when you express something that is close to zero, you can also use any to check if there is something. Like, for example, if I ask you, are there, for example, if I ask you, are there any apples in the kitchen, for example. Two things. I don't know if there's even one apple. I don't know. Is there one apple, two apples, or probably there are no apples? So you use any to check existence. The existence of something. Are there any apples, right? So we use it for that. Questions and negatives. If for example, there are no apples, so you say there isn't any apple, right? So it's for questions and negatives. Now, what about many? What I was saying, see, many we use it for large quantities, but it is for countable nouns, right? The ones that we can count. Few, it's a very, very small amount, right? It's a very, very small amount, and it is for countables. Now, several, see what it says there, unspecified, that means that we don't know, but it's relatively small, right? I have several apples. I don't know the number, but it's not a big number. Yeah, I don't know. I probably cannot count it with my fingers, but the amount is small. Lots and a lot were large or significant quantities. This is for big quantities. The same as much. Also, little is for small, but remember that little, same as much, it's for uncountable nouns. Sufficient, well, that's for enough. And this word can be used not only for when we want to like count something in a specific, but for example, if somebody is like bothering you, or somebody is like shouting and you're already like tired, you can say enough. That means that that's sufficient, satisfactory, no more. So probably if you're having dinner and then you ask, and somebody asks you, do you want I don't know, dessert? And you're like, I already had enough. That means that it is sufficient or satisfactory, right? The amount of food that you already had. No, well, it's the absence, so that means zero. Every, it refers to all the members or instances in a group. For example, every student in this group is in pre-intermediate, right? I'm talking about each individual or each member in the group. And then we also have each, but each is specific to the individual, right? So when I say every, it's like I'm talking about the group, and each, I'm going like each individual or each item or each member of the group. So this is how we use quantifiers, and this is like the difference, right? I don't want to translate it to you in Spanish because the idea is that you learn when to use them in English. But basically, that's what it is, right? Some they are used for like big quantities, or some are used for small quantities, or some are also used for uncountable or countable nouns, okay? That is the difference with quantifiers. So you really need to somehow, and that's why I say I'm gonna share this with you, because you need to know the difference. And we will do some practice on that, all right? Let me see, I wanted to show you something else before the exercise. Well, let's do this exercise first, okay? Let's do this exercise. These are some scenarios, right? And what we need to do is try to use a quantifier. So number one says you are at the supermarket. You need to buy vegetables. decide which quantifier fits the situation. So we need tomatoes and we need potatoes. Which quantifiers do you think that we can use? Here there are different possibilities, okay? Suppose that you, depending on what you need, but what quantifiers can you use? I'm gonna give you an example. I need some tomatoes and some potatoes. That means that the amount is not specified, right? So I can say I need some tomatoes, or I can just say I'm gonna write it here like some tomatoes or some potatoes. What about scenario number 2? I think that I have enough scenarios for each of you. So let's go, Eric. What about the second one? Packing for picnic. Read the scenario, please.
Okay. You are packing for a picnic. You have some snacks. Decide which quantifier fits the situation. We have many sandwiches and a lot of juice.
And a lot of use. Excellent. Now, a lot of. So sandwiches, countable or uncountable?
Countable,
Countable. Use,
Countable.
uncountable.
use is uncountable and sandwiches is countable. Excellent. Thank you, Eric. Xiomara, what about the third one? Organizing a party.
And if you are on the party, you need to set up chairs, decide which part it's the suggestion. We need a few chairs or
Let's say that you need,
many.
let's say that you need 1,000 chairs.
Oh,
What
a
would be
lot
the,
of chairs.
a lot of chairs would be a lot of chairs. What if you need, I don't know, 15?
15, a few.
You need a few. Excellent. I'm gonna write it here in parentheses, so because I don't have no space there. Excellent. Thank you so much. Alessandro, scenario number 4, baking cookies.
You are baking cookies. You have flour. Decide which quantifier fits the situation. We need much sugar to make the cookies.
We need much sugar or can we use some? Right? Because we don't specify the amount. Like in this type of sentences, probably some is more appropriate because you don't specify the amount. And well, it will depend. If you're baking cookies, like much, remember that much is for a big amount. But if you're preparing, it will depend, right? If you're preparing cookies for 1,000 people, or if you're preparing cookies just for the family, right? That's what it will depend. But you can also use some. Thank you, Lisandro Gandhi. Let's do scenario number 5, studying for an exam.
Sure.
Can you read it, please?
You have information to start. Decide which quantifiers fit the situation. I have few time to review for this exam.
Yeah, I have few time. I have little time. What do you think? Few time, little time. Which one do you think is more appropriate?
I think it's few.
Can you count time? Is it countable? Remember, let me see if I can go back here. See, we have here few is for countables. Can you count time? Can we count it?
Yes, it depends. I can say 1 hour, 2 hours, but I don't know in this case.
Okay. So let's say 1 hour, 2 hours. What am I counting, Gandhi? Hours or time?
Hours.
Hours. So we're not counting time. There are two concepts here that are very important. One is a count, and the other one is measure. When we talk about count, it means that I can say 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs, 5 apples, 3 apples. But when I say measure, it means that I am going to use another word. Like, for example, what about milk? Can you count milk?
No.
No, we can measure it, right? We can measure it. I can say, for example, a liter of milk, for example, of milk. But I'm not counting milk. I am measuring milk. And with time is the same. Time, we measure it. And yes, you are correct. We measure it by using 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 seconds, 1 day, 2 days, 1 year. But these are measurements. Now, so coming back to the previous scenario, what could be a good quantifier to complete this one? Gandhi.
Okay, so in this case, will be a little time.
Okay, I have little time. That means that the time that you have is, I don't know, 1 hour probably, and you have a lot of information. What if it is the opposite? You suppose that you have to study for the exam, and the exam is in 1 month. So that means that we have, you can
Little
say,
time.
a lot of time.
A lot of time.
When you have a lot of time, when you have little, could be that you have just 2 hours for the exam.
Okay.
A lot of time could be that you probably have I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks to prepare for the exam. Another word that you can use is also much. I have much time to review for the exam. So that means that you have a big amount of time. I don't know, that could be 1 month, 2 months. Right? It will depend on the amount of information too. But remember that since we cannot count time, it is not countable. We have to use a quantifier that is for uncountable nouns. Is that clear?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, excellent. I have another
That's
one
for the
here.
big one.
Excellent, very good. Now let's see who Selena. Can you help me with number 6?
Okay.
Talking about friends.
Okay. What is the meaning of acquaintances?
Acquaintances is somebody that you know, but it's not your friend.
Okay. I have many close friends, or I have a few close friends, and
All of those are correct. What about the second one?
acquaintances is like a characteristics on or not.
All right. These two close friends and this one, they are completely the opposite.
Okay.
But they are not your enemy. Okay.
It's like the same, few and many.
Exactly. You will be able to use the same. Usually, we have more acquaintances than close friends, right?
Yes, it's true.
Because, tell me,
It's true.
yes, you know a lot of people and they are not your close friends. A close friend is a small group, acquaintances is a bigger group, right? Your people you know from the university, from the school, from, yeah, I don't know. But for example, your close friends, they are going to be people that probably live very close to you, people that are close to you at work. I don't know. Right. So excellent. Thank you very much. Fatima, can you help me with 7, exploring a new city?
Okay. You're exploring a new city. Decide which qualifier fits the situation. There are many,
Hmm.
and um, a lot of
A lot of
parks in the city.
parts in the city. Excellent. Very good. Any volunteer for the last 3? Because I have these 3. Number 8. Any volunteer? Cleaning the house.
Me, but
Okay, someone.
I don't know what is dust on the shield.
Okay. All right. Dust. All right. Shelves. All right. Shelves are at home, right, at your house, the place where you put the books, for example. That's a shelf.
Okay,
And dust is like when you pass the finger like this, right, and you get it like completely white.
okay. Um, there is a lot of dust on the shelves, and um,
Dirt is the same.
and a lot of dirt.
Yeah. These are a lot of is very helpful because you can use it with both. Can you count dirt and can you count dust?
No.
No, right? Because imagine that you pass your finger on the shelf and it's really dirty. I don't think you will be able to count what is left on your finger, right? That's
Yeah.
difficult. Right. Excellent. Thank you, so much. Any volunteer for packing for vacation?
Me, teacher.
Tell me again.
Sure. Instruction says, you're packing for a vacation. Decide which quantifier fits the situation. I have here, I think it will be some.
I have some clothes in my suitcase. Okay.
Yeah, and the other space, it will be a lot of space for more.
And in my suitcase and a lot of space for more. Yeah. A lot of space. You cannot count space, right? Excellent. Thank you, Gandhi. And the last one, number 10, talking about hobbies. Who would like to do that? Anybody? You are discussing hobbies. Decide which quantifier. I have. Can you count hobbies? Is there something that you can count? You know what hobbies are? Like, for example, playing soccer is a hobby sometimes. If you're not a professional, like playing soccer is a hobby. I don't know, riding a bike, for example. That's also a hobby. Collecting cards, for example. Do you like to collect cards? Like for the World Cup, do you collect the album? Is that something you'd like to do? Now, how many hobbies do I have? How many hobbies do I have? According to the list that I just showed you, how many hobbies do I have?
I have many hobbies
I have many
that I
hobbies.
enjoy.
Excellent. I have many hobbies. Yeah, I have many hobbies. Right? I have a lot of free time. Right? We don't usually have hobbies, right? Because we don't have free time. Okay. The last minutes that we have. We're gonna do this exercise. Well, I'm gonna give you the last. We have like 15 minutes left. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes so you can go over these sentences, and I want you to complete them either using some, any, many, much, a few, a little, a lot of. So choose which is the word that best fits all of these sentences. Okay. Now, to make it easy for you, right now we are in total 7 people. So you're 6. So I'm gonna send you to 2 different groups, so you can work in 3. All right, so you can work in groups of 3 because they are a lot of sentences. They are 15. So I'm gonna make a 2 breakout rooms, so you can work together. Let me see. Can you get a screenshot of that? Or let me see if I can get a screenshot and send it to you in the chat. Let me see if I can do that. Well, I'm gonna create the breakout rooms. So they're gonna be 2 breakout rooms. I'm gonna create it. Let's see, do I have, hold on, recreate and automatically. Okay, so I already have the breakout rooms. Let me just get the screenshot and then I'm gonna send you to the breakout room. Okay. Can I get a screenshot? So,
I was already setting, teacher.
say that again? Oh, you did? Okay, okay, good. Excellent. Thank you a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna send you right now to the breakout room. There we go. Okay, they're opening now.
I prepared to quantify, and then have some, any, many, much.
country, it's their parents' anniversary. There are there are there are there are many studies. We don't have we don't have any coffee at home. We made
I have yes, a lot of time. Oh, a lot
or
of free
or a
time.
few time.
A lot of.
A lot of yeah.
Okay, let's try with it.
She has no computer program. She has a lot of
He has knowledge about computer programming.
tiene mucho conocimiento, mucho.
Yeah, you're right, because the
She has
knowledge is
a lot
uncountable,
of
I think. Are you okay with this answer?
¿Cómo?
If you are okay with this answer, y si están de acuerdo con
Or
esta
much.
respuesta.
She has
Mm,
much.
I'm okay.
much.
Much
I'm
or
not
a
sure,
lot.
but we can try with much.
Yes, much.
Okay. The next one, it's a they bought
both
gifts for their parents' anniversary. Bought is like a comprar, right?
Yeah,
Solo que en pasado.
they both.
I think it's some.
Yes,
You can try with it.
for some gift.
One.
Okay.
The
They
next
both.
one, it's there are students in the classroom. I think it's many.
There are many. Yes, many. It's okay.
Okay. And what do you think about this one?
We
We don't have
don't have,
coffee at home.
we don't have any
Any
coffee.
coffee? Yeah, you're right. Any. And the last one. She made
Sorry. Hello, guys. So how was the exercise? Was it easy? Difficult? Do you have any that you had some doubts? How did you feel about the exercise?
Here I have a question.
Tell me,
Or like, yeah, for me, it is not clear the difference between much and a lot of. That's the problem that I have.
Much. Let me just show you here. I think I can go back. There we go. So, for example, they can be used like for large amounts. Much is only used with countables only. You cannot use it with countables. And lots of can be used with both countable and uncountable. And it is with, I think that it's also used for large amounts. You can use them in indifferently. You can say I have a lot of apples. I have well, that's countable. Let's say I feel a lot of love for you, a lot of love, or I have much love, or I feel much love for you. I have a lot of, or I feel a lot of love for you. Both are for large amounts that you cannot count. But both can be correct in the case of uncountables. You can either say much or a lot of. For countables, it's either a lot of, oh, sorry. It's either a lot of or many, right? Or a lot of or many. Many and much are basically the same. Many and much. But this is for countables and this is for uncountables. And a lot of can be used with both. But they express large amounts. Okay? That's what you need to keep in mind, that they express large amounts. Well, guys, I don't wanna have you here more time than needed. So we have class on Friday. On Friday, one of the first things that we are going to do, we are going to check the answers on this one, so that we can verify and see if you have any doubts before we actually move on to the next topic. Okay. I don't know. Do you have any other question, guys, before we go? If not, well, that's going to be all for today. And don't forget, please, to do your work in the platform and also to send it, okay? Please. I think that so far you should have like 25% of the work from the platform, okay? Well, that's all for today, guys. Have a nice night. I see you on Friday. Oh, sorry, Gandhi, you had a question. I'm sorry. Tell me.
Yes, teacher. What's the minute? Our score of the platform. We will send you in your WhatsApp, right?
Yes, that's correct. Send it to WhatsApp.
Okay.
You can get my number from the group and send it to me. Okay. Just make sure you write your name, in case you don't have it in the WhatsApp number. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a nice night, guys.
Thank you. Good
Goodbye,
night.
Gandhi.
Good night.
Goodbye, Serena, Eric, and Xiomara. Have a nice night.